That's what they do best. All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're situated on this great, big, beautiful blue globe floating through the void of Yah's creation. It's such a Monday. It's the 10th of November, 2025, and these are the WTF reports. I'm your host, Dave vonKleist, and the media's, they're liars. Yeah, they are. You won't be trusted anymore. No, I lost my trust in the mainstream media decades ago, and you listeners to this broadcast, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And yeah, at least you can say that they're consistent. That's for sure. Anyway, welcome to the Monday edition of the WTF Reports, which are brought to you in part by the Wave Watch. If you haven't checked it out, please do so. You're doing yourself a tremendous disservice by not knowing about Rife machines, Rife technology. Of course, that's based on Tesla's findings, discoveries, that frequency is everything. And yeah, the Rife machines, there's a whole bunch of them out there. But this particular one is called the Wave Watch, and that technology has been shrunk down to the size of a wristwatch. And it uses frequencies to help your body heal and also to get rid of nasty bugaboos, bacteria and viruses and stuff like that. Now, I'm not here to tell you it's going to cure or treat anything. I got to put that disclaimer out there. But you owe it to yourself to at least check out the technology, check out what Rife did, and check out the Wave Watch. You'll be glad that you did. All right, getting started. Over the weekend, I decided I was just going to stop looking at the news. You know, I become a news junkie for many years, and it's addictive. I mean, it's like getting, hooked into a soap opera. And every day there's a new episode. And I got to tell you, it's like watching a huge train wreck in super slow-mo. So, yeah, I didn't want to get all wrapped up with that, so I did some mindless searching on the web. And I came across a bunch of different videos of younger people who are listening to music of the 60s for the first time. I mean, they're rediscovering the Beach Boys and the Beatles and the Doors and the Who and stuff like that. And they're doing it, and they were listening to this, and they were saying, man, this music was so complicated. It was so good. Oh my gosh, I've never heard anything like this before. I love it. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I went back and checked out these old songs. And then I started thinking about it, and being a musician for all these years, I've watched how the music has evolved over the several decades since I was a kid. And most of you listeners out there, I mean, let's face it, younger people don't listen to this broadcast. It's us mature folks that listen to broadcasts like this. And so you know what I'm talking about. The music today, for lack of a better word, it sucks. I mean, there are some good musicians out there, and there's some really good independent labels and bands out there. I mean, there's, Wolfpack and Snarky Puppy and Eric, what's his name? Cole. Can't remember his name. But anyway, there's a lot of good stuff, but it's not mainstream. The mainstream is giving us, rap music, or crap music is what I call it. Taylor Swift, I mean, the kids today, they think they can change the world if they learn how to dance, or game, or, it just seems that our entire society, the bar has gotten lower and lower and lower, and our education stinks. And, I mean, our morals have declined in this country. And I can't help but think, of course, this is all done by design. But, I was listening to, or shall I say, watching these people's reactions. They put on headphones and then they listen to something from, the Beatles or something like that. And they were their jaws were dropping open. They were going, oh man, this is so good. I've never heard anything like this before. So, and I know I'm getting a bit sidetracked here, but this is indicative as to what's been happening in our society. And I can't help but think, I remember when George Carlin, of course you remember George Carlin, rest his soul. I mean, and I can't help but think that they took him out. I mean, my conspiracy thought, I think they used a heart attack gun on him. I really do. Because everywhere he was going, and he was, he was funny as heck. He was irreverent, and he was profane, I must say. I can't go along with some of the, where he took some of the imagery, shall we say. But his message was spot on, and he warned everybody. He warned everybody about our education. I had to go through and do some editing with this to take out some of the bleeps. But you remember when George Carlin said the following.
But there's a reason. There's a reason. There's a reason for this. There's a reason education sucks, and it's the same reason that it will never, ever, ever be fixed. It's never going to get any better. Don't look for it. Be happy with what you got. Because the owners of this country don't want that. I'm talking about the real owners now. The real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want.
Okay, I'm going to pause it. Lobbying. Who's in the news lobbying? Okay, just going to throw that in. We continue.
Want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. That's right. They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table to figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And now they're coming for your Social Security money. They want your fucking retirement money. They want it back so they can give it to their criminal friends on Wall Street. And you know something? They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later because they own this fucking place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. Mm-hmm. You and I are not in the big club.
You got that right. Yeah, we've heard that many, many times. It's a big club, and you're not in it. You can darn bet your bippy. Remember betting your bippy? The old Rowan and Martin laugh in. Anyway, I forgot to mention, we got a phone line that's open. If you want to call in, you agree that education sucks, well, then I want to hear from you. 215-867-8255. That's the number here. Anyway, on this subject of education, okay, let's not forget that the Department of Education is under fire right now. Trump has been saying he wants to do away with the Department of Education. And some of the libs out there, the left-wingers, are saying, oh my gosh, he's going to destroy the schools. He's got, and they go crazy. But everybody just seems to forget their history. And if you forget your history, you're destined to repeat it, as they say. Now, the Department of Education came about, I think it was in 1980. At that time, the United States was right at the top of the list for the best education in the world. And I've used this analogy many times, and I'll continue to use it. If you hire somebody, if you give them a 1-year contract to do a job, at the end of the year, you review their job. You review their work. And if they're doing the work that you want, you extend the contract. If they're not doing the job that you want, you either, renegotiate the contract or you just fire them. That's common sense. That's the way it works. But, when it comes to the Department of Education, they went into effect, like I said, in 1980, thereabouts, and immediately the United States fell from number 1 to number 3. And so what happened the following year? They renewed the contract, which means they're doing exactly the job the government wants. This is common sense, folks. Pardon me for thinking outside the cage, but year after year, the rating of the United States education has dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped. And now we're rated, I think it's like 28th in a field of 30. Let that sink in. And you still think the Department of Education is good for you? Let's go back in time. Let's go back like 125 years. I have before me a final exam from 1895. This is an 8th grade final exam from Salina, Kansas, and it was taken from the original document on file at the Smoky Valley Genealogical Society and Library in Salina, Kansas, and it was reprinted by the Salina Journal. And the 8th grade final exam, I'm just going to go through a couple of questions here. They have several different categories. The first one was grammar. Okay, again, this is 8th grade, folks. We're talking about 12 and 13-year-olds. Okay, here's a few of the questions in the subject of grammar. Here it is. What are the principal parts of a verb? Give principal parts of do, lie, lay, and run. I wonder how many high school kids could do that today. All right, let me see. Number 5 question says, define case, illustrate each case. What's case? Yeah, I could just hear it. Okay, define verse, stanza, and paragraph. Now, these are all questions from 8th grade final exam. Here's another one. Name the parts of speech that define those that have no modifications. How many folks out there even understand the question? Okay, then we get into the other category, arithmetic. All right. And let me see. Number 1, name and define the fundamental rules of arithmetic. To be honest, I don't know if I could do that. I don't know the fundamental rules. Here's another question. A wagon box is 2 feet deep, 10 feet long, and 3 feet wide. How many bushels of wheat will it hold? How many of you could answer that question? Okay, here's another one. If a load of wheat weighs 3,942 pounds, what is its worth at 50 cents per bushel, deducting 1,050 pounds for tare? Really? Okay, let's see. Again, this is 8th grade, folks. We're talking, 1895. Let me see. What's the arithmetic here? That's 140 years ago. All right. Okay. Let's see. District number 3 has a valuation of $35,000. What is the necessary levy to carry on a school 7 months at $50 per month and have $104 for incidentals? Holy crap! There are college grads that couldn't do this. Here's another question. Find the interest of $512.60 for 8 months and 18 days at 7%. I can smell the rubber burning right now. All right, let me see. Find bank discount on $300 for 90 days, no grace at 10%. Here's another one. What is the cost of a square farm at $15 per acre, the distance around which is 640 rods? I mean, again, this is an 8th grade final exam from 140 years ago. And people think that they have a good education now? I mean, come on. We have been absolutely, irrefutably dumbed down. And it's not by accident, folks. No, it's not. As a matter of fact, they did an experiment. And again, I can't help but think, I go back to what happened this weekend, listening to these younger folks, listening to the music of 60 years ago. And they were gobsmacked. They were floored. They were saying, my gosh, this is the best music I've ever heard, compared to the garbage that's been given to them in their generation. So are we moving forward, or are we moving backward? That's sort of where I'm going with today's show. Now, there was an experiment that was held, I guess it was in the 1950s. It involved, they wanted to see if they could take a chimpanzee and increase its intelligence by having it raised in a regular human family. A mom, a dad, and a baby. And they incorporated this chimpanzee into the family to see what would happen. And here it is.
That study where they took a monkey, like an actual chimpanzee, and they raised the chimpanzee as a human child. The reason they conducted the study is they thought they could make the chimp more intelligent than standard chimps if they raised it in a human family, performing various human tasks like eating with spoons, cutlery, drinking out of cups, using toilets, wearing clothes, stuff like that. They wanted to see if they could get the chimp to be more intelligent than average chimps. The reason they cancelled the study, though, is because not only was the chimp not getting any intelligent than the standard chimp, the human child that the chimp was being raised alongside was getting dumber. Its growth, its intellectual development was being stunted. And so they cancelled it on those grounds, and perhaps they didn't cancel it soon enough because the child involved in that study ended up growing up and killing themselves later in life. So that's an example of how a creature of lesser intelligence, when it was brought up or placed in an environment with certain other people, with humans, the humans in that environment became dumber as a result of the creature's presence.
Now that's kind of interesting. All right. In other words, if you take dumb people and mix them in with smart people, the dumb people don't get smarter. The smart people get dumber. Now that's what I'm getting out of this. And if you put that together with what's been happening in our society, with the social engineering, and don't kid yourself, that's exactly what's been going on. The situation that we find ourselves in today is a direct result of very scientific, manipulative, social engineering. As George Carlin was saying, they don't want a society of critical thinkers. They want obedient workers. They want people that are not smart enough to figure out the shackles, the intellectual chains that they've been, subjected to. And this is why we look around and say, what is wrong with these people? How is it that they get to be so unbelievably stupid? And there was a conversation with Dinesh D'Sousa, and his name was Imam Mohammed Twahidi. Yeah, Twahidi. And Dinesh D'Sousa, and I had a lot of respect for him, but his actions over the past year have brought him under suspect. But anyway, here's a conversation that Dinesh D'Sousa had with Imam Mohammed Twahidi. Listen to this.
Here's a paradox. In America, we have a political left. It's a progressive left. As you know, it's sexually permissive, not just homosexuality, bisexuality, transsexuality. And this political movement appears strangely allied with radical Islam. Can you explain this strange bedfellows phenomenon?
When I was an extremist, Islamist, fundamentalist, I would only vote left.
Why is that?
I saw them as very stupid. I would fear the conservatives. I would fear them because they come with principle. That's not someone they can brainwash. But the left, I know they have no values and no principles to begin with. And they will fall in the track that I set for them. I dare you to find one Islamic extremist that votes for Donald Trump. Never do it. They give their vote to the leftist who wants to run around in pride parades. And Islamic extremists are against gays and homosexuals and transgenders, but they want the left to go and get busy with that. They want them, go speak about the climate, go speak about abortion, go kill yourselves, go do that. Ilhan Omar, she's fighting for abortion rights and all the other, my body, my choice, yes, go do that. But would she have an abortion? Never. Would she kill a Muslim in her stomach? Never.
Isn't that interesting? Yes, the Islamic extremists would always vote for the liberals, for the left, because they're not smart. And I'm not trying to insult. I have a lot of liberal friends out there, and I suppose I shouldn't make a generalization like that. But it's deeds, not words. And there's an old saying, if you're young and you're not liberal, then you have no heart. But if you're mature and you're not conservative, then you have no brain. And, when I was younger and I heard that, I felt a certain level of insult. But now that I've crossed over into across the bridge into a mature, aging adult male, I look back and I say, there's a lot of truth in that saying. And I can't help but apply that to what people are talking about now. I mean, we've got this argument between the right and the left, and the left's. There's so much hypocrisy that I'm seeing in the liberal Democrat party, if you will. But there was somebody here that posted the following, and it basically illustrates one of the problems that we've got. Here it is.
Okay, I don't want to hear a freaking word from leftists who have suddenly discovered the Constitution for the first time in their entire lives and now think that they are champions for free speech. You wanted people fired because they didn't use your made-up pronouns. You wanted parents stripped of their custody rights because they refused to affirm their kids' gender delusion. You wanted American Eagle canceled because they put a white girl in their ads. You've gone after comedians for making jokes. You went after J.K. Rowling for saying that women deserve their own spaces. And it was a leftist who just shot a man in the throat for saying things that you didn't like. And now all of a sudden, you're outraged that people are losing their jobs because they were publicly cheering the brutal and bloody murder of an innocent man. And it turns out a lot of companies and schools don't want to be affiliated with people that crazy and inhuman. And look, you have the right to be as vile as you want on the internet. Cheer, laugh, expose your demonic, hateful self all you want, but you do not have the right to force your employer to continue employing you after they find out that you are a rabid lunatic and decide that you probably shouldn't be driving an ambulance or teaching second graders. It's called a code of conduct, and if yours was at all decent, maybe you wouldn't be in this pickle.
Well, I agree 100% with everything she said, except the idea that when she mentioned a crazed leftist shooting a man in the throat. Of course, she's referring to Charlie Kirk's assassination. And there are lots and lots of people who want you to think that it was a crazy leftist. Yeah, it was that Tyler Robinson with his gay boyfriend who was going to go to get transitioned. Yeah, that's what they want you to say. That's what they want you to think. But I think a lot of us who've been paying attention know a whole lot better. Okay, let's go to the phones. Good morning or good afternoon. I don't know where the heck you are. Who is this? Let me see. Who might this be? I'm looking at it. Let me take a guess. Is this Cynthia? No, it's not Cynthia. Who are you?
Yeah, this is Cynthia.
It is Cynthia. Okay, I should have recognized that number. How are you doing, my dear?
Well, pretty good. I've been thinking about a couple of your comments, and I wanted to bring up some information.
Okay.
One of which is that you played a recording of a niece of Jeffrey Epstein saying that we're not Jews, we're followers of Baal. Do I recall that correctly?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, that was a couple weeks ago. I'll see if I can't find that. Yeah.
I was thinking about that because I ran across information regarding Elijah. I think it was Elijah. He challenged the priest of Baal to a contest. And the contest was, could they bring down fire from heaven and light the altar on fire? And they tried all day long and they couldn't do it. And Elijah tried, and he got our God to do that, to light the altar on fire. And then the people turned loose and killed hundreds of the priests of Baal. And so why would the people of the city of London, who apparently, I'm thinking that they are from Radan, a neighborhood, and they were merchants, and they traveled, and they were labeled as Jews, but were they really Jews? Were they the people that call themselves Jews, but who were not? And these are the ancient followers of Baal who, and why are they trying to herd the Jews into Israel?
Trying to herd them into Israel, you're saying?
No, they wanted people to come from all over the world and settle Palestine and call it Israel. And I am baffled by this whole thing. Is there a connection with this ancient rivalry or not? So I just want to turn you and your listeners loose on that idea, that can this be an ancient rivalry that they are playing out? And so I have a lot of concern about whether the whether the Talmud is for the followers of Baal or for the followers of Judaism. Because you keep saying, oh, they're not Jews if they're following the Talmud. And so I just want to throw that out there. And then I want to look again at what you just said about a contract.
Mm-hmm.
And if you contract with somebody to renovate your kitchen, and you come home from vacation and discover they have also decided to renovate the bedrooms and the bathroom, and now they want you to pay the bill,
mm-hmm.
you have every right to walk away from that bill.
Well, yeah, that would make sense, yeah.
So our national debt is composed largely of spending that was never authorized under the Constitution, which is a contract.
Correct.
So we need as many people as possible to understand that those federal lands, those are not federal. Those belong to the states. They were never surrendered to the states as the Constitution called for.
Mm-hmm.
And many of the unconstitutional behaviors they've had, like I think it could be the IRS was unconstitutional. They were never authorized to set up a collection agency. And the militia was never going to try to collect that income tax, which is also, I'm pretty sure, didn't pass enough states to be an actual amendment. I'm just saying that there's this national debt being held over our heads, which could cause other nations who hold that debt to decide they have the right to invade us.
Yeah.
Right? So we need as many people as possible to be following up on learning that Constitution, understanding what they can and cannot legitimately do, and figure out how to get your state legislatures to step up to the plate and protect their own, protect their citizens, and protect their land. Just saying.
Mm-hmm. Well, you bring up several different points. Now, the first one, you were talking about, inviting Jews over to Israel. Well, I mean, they just finished razing the entirety of Palestine. And it's not just Gaza. Gaza was like the last stronghold we've been focusing on for the past 2 years. Okay, but I mean, they pretty much taken over all of Palestine. And of course, it's completely leveled. I mean, there's like not a house or a building standing I've seen the videos, I'm sure you have too. I mean, they've completely razed Palestine. So they're going to have to go in there and rebuild it. And they're talking about, of course, turning it into the Riviera of the Middle East and have gambling casinos and hotels and luxury this and luxury that. But there's also going to be a lot of area where they want to have, rural communities. So they want to populate those rural communities. And of course, they want to populate them with Jews. Okay? That's why they're inviting so many Jews over there. And that's why they're having real estate seminars here in the States, and like in New York and New Jersey. And you're only invited if you're Jewish. And you get these really sweet deals on land over there in Palestine. So I think that would probably answer your question about why are they inviting Jews over there to Israel. But, as far as this other stuff is concerned, I'm going to see if I can't find that audio clip, because you were right. There was that one woman who was testifying that she was brought up in that environment where they were doing Satan worshiping. And then, okay, you also brought up the issue about, the Talmud and the Talmudic Jews. Now, my personal believing, and I've said this from day one, I do not condemn all Jews because of the acts of what's going on with this murderous, psychotic, insane regime over there being headed up by Bibi Netanyahu. I don't go along with that, but I don't condemn all Jews because of it. There are plenty of other Jews that are out there that are just as disgusted with the Israeli regime as the rest of us. Okay? But unfortunately, they are in the small minority. And again, I refer back to that study by Johns Hopkins University and finding out that 97.5% of the Israelis are not indigenous. They come from Eastern Europe and North America. And it just so happened that Eastern Europe and South Central Asia is where the Talmudic Jews originated. They basically assimilated the Jewish faith. They are not the real Jews. And if that's true, and that's such a huge percentage of the population of Israel, I can't help but think that when we look at our own country here and we see how many of those stars are represented in all the powerful positions in, CBS, NBC, ABC, Disney, you name it. I mean, pharmaceutical companies, Pfizer, Merck, Johnson & Johnson, everywhere that you look, you see the people who are in power are represented by that star. And it's not the Star of David. You know exactly what I'm talking about. So I would say that 95% of our media is controlled by those people who basically go by the Torah. And that Torah has nothing to do with the Old Testament. The Torah didn't even come around until several hundred years after the New Testament. So, I don't know, is that resonating with you there?
Yeah. Would you happen to remember which book?
Can you get closer to your phone? You're on the other side of the room.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Now I can hear you clearly.
Where in the Bible, which book does that Star of Remphan mention?
It's in the book of Amos, and it's also in the book of Acts. I'm trying to remember where that is. I'm flipping through right now. I know I had it here marked. Oh, wait a second. Amos. Yeah, Amos. Let me see. It's chapter. Oh, shoot. I just ripped the page. It's an old Bible. Oh, no. And the print came. Oh, shame on me. This is terrible. I've just destroyed that page. Oh, no. I had a Post-it in there, and the Post-it stuck to the page so good that when I pulled the Post-it, it ripped the page. Bummer. Oh, gosh. Yes, it's in the book of Amos, chapter 5, verse 26. I read, it says, "But ye have borne the tabernacle of your Moloch, and Chion, your images, the star of your God, which ye made to yourselves." Okay, that's the book of Amos. Now I know it's also in the book of Acts, but I'm not going to tear another page out trying to find it. But that would be chapter 5, verse 26 in the book of Amos. Go ahead.
It doesn't describe the star. It just says that there's a star. Yes,
but it's the only time that a star is even mentioned in the Bible. Okay, unless I'm wrong, unless they're talking about the stars in heaven, okay, which is a whole different thing. But here they're talking about a star that represents something, the star of your God, which ye made unto yourselves. So that's not that's not the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It's a God that they made unto themselves. So, and hopefully that answers that question. And I'm really upset here. I just ripped the page on my Bible. I don't know. Where's a expletive deleted? All right. Okay. Anything else?
Well, those are the two ideas I was working on that I wanted to bring to your attention. And thank you so much for having a service we can call in and. Oh, one more thing. Yes, one more thing.
Okay.
You said the phones, the Samsung phones.
The what?
Have been. Did you say that the Samsung phones have been hacked for spying, and that you cannot get that hack out of there?
Yeah, I did cover that. Let me see if I can find that particular. Okay, yeah, here it is. Let's see, Samsung. Yeah, here it is. Here, I'll play this audio clip for you right now. Here it is. Listen up.
Israel is turning every single Samsung phone into a surveillance device. Do you have a Samsung phone?
Okay, I'll tell you what. I'm going to start it over again. I'm going to play the clip for you, but you can't talk while you're listening. Okay? All right, and by the way, this was reported by Stu Peters. Here it is. Oh, there we go.
Israel is turning every single Samsung phone into a surveillance device. Do you have a Samsung phone? You might want to pay attention. App Cloud pre-installed, impossible to delete. It knows your location. It knows your fingerprint. It knows your IP address. It knows every text, every call, and every search that you make. Did you know that? This isn't just data collection. This is blackmail material. Imagine the power that Israel now has to know who's criticizing them, to know who's organizing against them, to know who's a threat. They will use this against American citizens, against politicians, against businesses. And what's the response from the Trump White House or from our government as a whole? Silence. Nothing, because Israel's interests are America's interests now.
Well, you could say so, but I don't agree with that. Anyway, so that's where that report came from. It came from Stu Peters, okay?
I didn't hear anything.
Oh, you couldn't hear anything?
No. Could the rest of your listeners hear it?
I don't know. Well, that's interesting that you couldn't hear it. Oh, okay. No, you should have heard that. You hear all the other clips. Oh boy. Okay. Well, that's a little technical issue. I'm going to have to a technical issue that I will have to deal with after the show. So that's interesting that you couldn't hear that. Could you hear all the other clips before you called in?
Did I hear any other clips? Yes, I did.
Oh, okay. But it's only when you're on the phone that you can't. Huh. Okay, I'll have to figure that one out. I don't understand why that's working that way. I appreciate you bringing that to my attention. That's something I'll work on. So
let me ask you more questions. You've heard that the Israelis loaded the batteries of phones that were delivered to Lebanon, and that those phones exploded on command.
Right.
Naming people. And then I've heard that they actually have been manufacturing these for a decade, and we don't know whose phone they might be in.
That's correct.
And so when my phone battery is starting to age out, I ordered another battery through a local retailer. And then when I heard that about the Lebanon issue, I said, I'm not going to have this battery replaced. I'm afraid that the ones he has will be a problem. So is it possible that police forces can have a drug sniffing dog? Not a drug sniffing, a explosive sniffing dog check phones for that issue?
I don't know, but let me check into that. So anyway, I've got another call coming in. I want to make room for them too. So I'll check into it. Hey, thanks for calling in.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. Okay, caller, thank you for calling us in. Who do we have and where are you calling from? Oh, they hung up. Oh, I hate when that happens. All right, we'll try back again, caller. Anyway, it's always good to have clear. It's always it's good to have people calling in. I appreciate that. Oh, there they go. They called back. All right. Thank you for calling in. Who are you and where are you calling from? Hello, caller. One more time. Caller, listen to your phone. Don't listen to your radio or they hung up again. Okie dokie. Never mind then. Okay. All right, I'll tell you what. I'm going to take a quick break and see if I can figure this out. I'll be right back.
Get More Tank will save you money every month on gas. Get More Tank is a tablet with active ingredients that adds big mileage to every tank. Made in America, the Get More Tank formula
hold on,
is used
caller.
by trucking companies and heavy industry. Now the Get More Tank formula is available to you. Get More Tank works in any gas or diesel engine, cleans your engine, lowers emissions, and you'll feel improved engine performance every time you step on the gas. Get More Tank works for cars, trucks, boats, motorcycles, four-wheelers, mowers, and blowers. Hey, if you got an engine, then Get More Tank. Contractors, electricians, plumbers, painters, and lawn service companies, Get More Tank will save you money and extend the life of your engines. If you're an owner-operator running your big rig around the town or across the country, Get More Tank will save you money too. If you're a farmer, all of your equipment can use Get More Tank. A 5-pack on sale at GetMoreTank.com for just $22.22 plus shipping. Use the promo code REDPILL101 and get 10% off. Save your money, save your engine, save the earth at GetMoreTank.com. Get More Tank is EPA registered, doesn't void warranties, results vary.
And you can get More Tank by visiting our website. Would you do so, please? Yes, the website is TheWTFReports.com. Click on the sponsors button and it'll take you down to a window where you can find out about Get More Tank, how and why this fuel catalyst works, and it does work, folks. I'm telling you, I've been using my daughter's car. She left it here when she moved out of state. And I put a couple tabs into the gas tank and started driving the car around. And doggone it, I got to be careful with the accelerator. I mean, when I hit the gas, when the light turns green, all of a sudden I feel G-forces. Whoa, this car's jumping out of the line. So, hey, folks, if you haven't tried Get More Tank, wasamara you got to try this stuff out. It actually works. Your car will run better, cleaner, have more power, and you will see increased mileage, which means money in your pocket. It's a no-brainer, folks. Go to our website, the WTF Reports, click on the sponsor page, and get more tank. All right, caller on the phone. Thank you for holding on through that promotion. And who do we have, and where are you calling from?
Hey, Dave. Carolyn here in California.
Carolyn!
Hey!
Hey!
I did hear the passage, by the way, and I feel the pain of ripping that Bible page.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that hurt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I use these Post-its, my Bible's got all these Post-its in here. I got to stop using Post-its. So,
or you know what they have? They have littler tabs. Anyway, on that note, they have smaller tabs. Like they have little tabs that maybe won't be fired.
Yeah, that's what I got to get.
Being hasty while you were pushed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you were basically, kind of under the gun to find the scripture, and so you weren't exactly all that careful, perhaps. So, but maybe the Post-it, perhaps the glue is a little bit too much.
Yeah.
But maybe, those little tabs, like something that doesn't have any glue on it. Like just little tabs without the glue.
Okay.
Here we are on that.
Okay,
I missed the show. I just want to let you know that I heard it. I'm going to let you finish your show out, and I'm going to listen to it later because I missed it this morning. So go on, and thank you. And it's really crazy out there. I will mention this. I have to. And I know it's off subject probably, but the ostriches in Canada that were massacred.
The ostriches, that's disgusting.
It's disgusting. And this is the overreach is private property, couldn't prove the disease. And if people don't see that, if you think that they don't have mercy upon these animals, how do you think they're going to treat us?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you not feel, I feel like an ostrich right now that I'm being corralled by, I'm not going to say
I know what you mean. Don't say it. No.
I know. They're already tracking us, right? Oh, my God. Well, I'm going to let you finish this out, and I will try to get in touch. It's been crazy out here, so I had to mention the ostriches. I mean, but go on. I did not mean to interrupt it. Yes, I did hear it. Maybe it was because she was on the phone, but your listeners, at least this listener, heard the horrible incident with ripping your Bible page.
Yeah.
I mean, so we heard the scripture. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to go.
All right. Well, thank you, dear. Thank you for calling in. I appreciate
Bye.
it. As always, have a great day. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I'm a little upset about that, but hey, that's just the way it goes. I've been looking around. I'd like to find, I want to get a copy of the complete, the Geneva Bible. That's what I know I can order one online, but anyway, that's another issue altogether. Okay, so we were talking about how badly we have been misinformed, we have been misled, we have been programmed, we have been, brainwashed. Our Department of Education is doing more damage than it's doing good. And I'm a strong advocate for homeschooling. If people can figure out a way that they can homeschool, and as a matter of fact, there are families that are banding together and they're hiring teachers. Let's say that you've got 10 families with a bunch of kids, and they each chip in $10, okay, to have some classes during the day. I am sure there are unemployed teachers out there that would be overjoyed to take a job teaching privately to kids. If all the parents chipped in $10, which is just a drop in the hat today. Not only, I mean, how much are they paying for daycare? Think about that. Think about, the cost of daycare and education. If you were chipping in $10, you got 10 families, there's $100. I'm sure that there's a teacher out there that would be happy to take 4 or 5 hours of their day and teach kids. They'd be for $100. I think that would work out quite well for everybody involved. But anyway, that's just me thinking outside of the cage. But anyway, getting back to this whole thing about education. I mean, it's criminal what's been going on. And the thing is, Americans have been so anesthetized. And as Carolyn was saying, up in Canada, they just slaughtered hundreds of ostriches. Why? Well, the government said, one or two of them had bird flu, so we have to destroy the entire herd. So wait a second, the bird flu thing happened 2 or 3 years ago. Those birds are perfectly healthy now. They don't have any problem at all. But what we do know is that the ostrich eggs are carrying antibodies that can knock some of these viruses and bugaboos right out. We need to be doing some research. What is it about the ostrich eggs that helps people get over these illnesses and these infections and these flus? Well, you see, the powers that be don't want cures. They don't want cures. They want treatments. Yeah, treatments are good. Treatments, real good. Treatments make money. Cures? No. God forbid they should come up with a cure, because the best customer is a repeat customer. And if they cure you, you won't be back. They can't have that. No, that would be sacrilege. Oh my gosh. Okay, we got another caller here. Okay, welcome to the show. Hello.
Hello. That's right. Hey,
Carolyn, you're back again.
This is a hot button for me.
Okay.
Because we're going around in a full circle here.
Mm-hmm.
What I understand is that the Rockefellers came in and changed our medical policy, our colleges. Ooh, that's a coincidence. They came in, they made, I mean, they, let's just face it, they murdered the people that knew about the sciences that could help us, including medicine, which they used to get paid to keep us well. They were called the barefoot doctors. That's one. Secondly, I mean, it's the same with the pharmaceuticals. It's like, when are we going to see? I mean, we see it. Rockefellers came. It's the same people that are in control that killed those ostriches, and the same elites, the same globalists, the same horrible, bad, evil Satanists, and they're the same crowd. It's like, come on, people, now.
Well, they can get away with anything these days because nobody will get off of their big, fat, pimple-covered butts and get involved. And the Canadians they're going to get all the tyranny that they deserve. They should have been out in the streets. They should be.
That's what I was thinking. I thought, wait a minute. I thought, where in the heck? Because they said it was 60-40. It started out, but anyway, it was like at least 50-50. And I thought, where are all the people?
Yeah.
Just defending these poor little... And the innocents. It's just like the children.
Yeah.
It's no different. Well, to me, they were babies. They were children. They were innocent. Oh, and they enjoyed it. So you don't tell me that's just military. These are the side note. I don't know who the heck they are, but I mean, livid does not describe it.
No, I know.
I feel like getting a T-shirt and putting the ostrich on it with a target. Like, do you feel like an ostrich lately? I mean, Well,
anyway, Unfortunately, we're living in a society now where whenever you start talking about pertinent subjects, difficult subjects, intellectual subjects, the majority of the people around you will give you the fluoride stare. It's like you're speaking a different language and they don't understand any of it.
But Jen, believe it or not, Gen Z, I talk to these kids. I heard something and I start talking, and the younger generation, the Gen Zs, are on it.
Yeah, they're starting to tune in. Yeah,
aren't they? I mean, I'm noticing that they are. And so the whole thing. I mean, does it not look like it's looping around to the big nation that starts with an I? I mean, it's looping around with Charlie stuff, with Canada. Just everything is looping around to that particular nation.
Yeah,
those people.
They're calling it blue state now because there's 50 states plus blue state. So,
not to mention the Islamic takeover. So where's that? I mean, when are people going to realize that they're in that killing zone?
Yeah,
frankly,
well, that old saying, they came for the gypsies and I wasn't a gypsy, so I said nothing. And they came for the Polish, I wasn't Polish, so I said nothing. They came for this, they came for that. Then they finally came for me, and there was nobody left to raise a voice. Something like that.
And also the people that they're using with apparently are the extreme leftists, or whatever they are. I mean, I don't even know what to call them. Stupid comes to mind. But they're using them and their idolatry or whatever they're, for the cause. I mean, it's like they don't even know. I mean, oh my God, the ostriches were smarter than they are. Okay?
Yeah, no kidding. Okay,
I'll let you go.
All right, dear. Thank you for calling in again. Always appreciate it. Bye-bye. Oh boy, you want to have your blood boil? Let's get really PO'd here for a minute, okay? If you haven't heard about this is going to get you pretty upset. Now you can't help but notice how many billions and billions and billions of dollars we've been sending overseas. Okay, so we already know that Blue State gets a snot load of money from us every year, and that doesn't include all the military stuff that we send over. Okay, but there's this other country, Ukraine, that we've been sending hundreds of billions. I mean, I could say billions and billions and billions for a half an hour, and it still wouldn't come up with how much money we've sent to the Ukraine. And isn't it interesting that Zalenski's crew, his regime, many of his high-ranking officials in his cabinet, they've been buying huge mansions here in the States. And you want to hear the icing on the cake? The biggest purchase of all. Listen to this.
Devegra Ltd., a Cyprus-based company owned by Volodymyr Zelensky, has purchased the Pathfinder Ranches in Wyoming, a property so vast it's bigger than the entire state of Rhode Island and over 4 times the size of New York City, at more than 916,000 acres. Pathfinder Ranches stretches across 4 Wyoming counties: Natrona, Carbon, Sweetwater, and Fremont. To put that in perspective, the fictional Dutton family's ranch in the hit TV series Yellowstone is said to span about 700,000 acres.
So Zelensky gets billions of dollars from us, taxpayer money, and then becomes the 10th largest landowner in the United States through his offshore company, Devegra? Anybody see how f***ed that really is?
Yeah, make it make sense. Make it make sense. We send all that money over to Ukraine. Don't tell me there's not money laundering going on. Don't tell me that there's nothing to do with Act Blue. Don't tell me that there's no skullduggery and corruption going on here. And so now Zelensky comes back here and purchases over 900,000 acres of United States land. We have been sold out. I mean, literally sold out. And most of Americans, just like the Canadians, they're not paying attention. No, not paying attention. Yeah, it's more important to stay in touch with your favorite football team. And, now the basketball season is heating up. And, there's that new Wizard of Oz, Wicked for Good, they're promoting the heck out of. And, of course, Taylor Swift got her new album came out. This is where the mindset of most of Americans are. And this is one of the numerous reasons why this country is going to go right down the crapper unless we all collectively wake up. All right. Well, I'm doing my doggonest to help that along. Been doing this now for 30 years. And I tell you, the word frustration just doesn't do it for me. But I can't stop. Oh, so help me stop. I got to stop blowing this trumpet. My lips are vibrating. All right, that's going to wrap it up for the Monday edition of the WTF Reports. If you're enjoying this broadcast, please help support us. You can do business with our advertisers. You can purchase some merch. We got the T-shirts and the hats and the coffee mugs. And if you'd like to make a donation through GoFundMe, we've got a GoFundMe on our website as well. All right, that said, we're out of here. I will be back again tomorrow, again, with more of the news they hope and pray you never hear. I'm Dave vonKleist. These are the WTF Reports. God bless you all. Stay safe. Stay free. And I'll see you tomorrow.